Alright, so the equation that we're going to be using is y equals 4 minus x squared. Okay, and we're given that they want you to use the interval from -2 to 2, and they want you to divide it from -2 at -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay. First of all, we need to find how to draw this. So let's put a graph, and actually I'll need this part of the graph too because we're going from -2 to +2. I'm going to put -2 right here, +2 right here, -1, 1, and 0. And as you can see, those are going to be our separations. But first of all, you need to figure out the x-intercepts for this equation. So to find the x-intercept, we have to set y equal to 0. So setting y equal to 0, you have 4 minus x squared, and you just solve for x, and you'll end up getting x equals 2. But actually, it's x equals positive and -2. Because when you have x squared equals 4, you find the square root of that, that means it can be plus or minus 2. Because after you square it, either way it's going to equal 4. Okay, now that we know the x-intercept is plus or minus 2, and we know that the y-intercept, if you set x equal to 0, y equals 4, we can say this is 4, and we can say that these are our x-intercepts, and we know it's a down parabola. Ooh, that's supposed to go to 2. And we know it's a downward facing parabola because it's a quadratic equation and x is negative, so it points downward. Alright, so now we take into account our subdivisions. So we're going to subdivide it from here. That's supposed to be at 2, sorry. We subdivide it from here at 0, at 1, and at 2. Okay? And that's where we're going to be taking our partitions. Except you need to take it from the midpoint. Okay? So the midpoint of here, which will end up this point right here, is -1.5. The midpoint for here, we could say, is -0.5. Right here, I'm supposed to, yeah, is 0.5. And the midpoint for here is 1.5. And when you look at it according to the equation, you don't really have to care about the negatives, but we'll go ahead and worry about it. Okay, so as you can see, I drew squares here that are at the midpoint. And these are the squares that we're going to be, or the rectangles, sorry, that we're going to be taking the area of and adding all up. And right here. Because that's where the midpoints are. Okay, to do that, we know that the area of the base is 1. Oh, sorry. The area of the base is 1. So we know the area of the rectangle is base times the height. And what we're going to be using for the height is the midpoint, okay? So the base is 1, and we'll take the area of this square right here. The base is 1, as we do right here, and the height is f, this is your function, at, and you take the midpoint, -1.5. And you add that to the base of the next rectangle, which is 1, multiply that by f at negative 0.5, since that's the midpoint for the next one. And then you add 1, the base of this rectangle, times f of 0.5, because that's the midpoint for this. And then you take the base of this, which is 1, and then you multiply that by f at the midpoint, which is 1.5. And then you add that pretty equation up, so you'll say 1 at 4 minus 1.5, negative 1.5 squared, and so on and so forth, and you should get 11. I got 11, so you should get 11.